It is time for the August video update, August 2021. Time is flying. And this time I'm using the nice camera and audio instead of my iPhone setup. So see how this goes. But usually, if you're new to this, every month I give a little update, talk about my 6 reading list selections for the month, which I'll get to at the end, and then just talk about some gear, give some updates that have been going on along the way. So first off, I am back from the final week of filming on the set of the Terminal List out in LA. And they have to do some pickup shots and some inserts and things like that still. But for all practical purposes, that's a wrap. Crazy. So now it goes into a few months of post-production and editing. And I get those episodes and I go through with the timestamps and give my notes on a director's cut, a network cut, an editor's cut, that sort of thing. And we keep working on those until it's a lock. And then they go to get color treated and all that sort of thing. And then they come out on Amazon Prime on redacted. But crazy. Everybody involved from cast, crew, every level crushed it, knocked it out of the park. And my takeaway from being on set, I think I went out 4 times for a week each, and is just how hard everybody is working at every level on these things. So I have a new appreciation for how difficult it is to make anything in Hollywood. So one, I'm shocked that anything gets made, and even more shocked that anything good gets made, because it's a crazy experience out there. So I'll talk more about that in the future as we get closer to dropping the series. But in the meantime, I'm going to go over some gear here. First, blades. Tracker Joe 08. Joe, thank you so much. Joe is getting started in knife making out there. And man, I love when people just go after their passion and go get after it. So thank you for sending that along. Very cool. And then this also, man, this thing looks old. So that is wild. I'm going to be using this thing, but there's a lot of character to this. So thank you for thinking of me. Thank you for sending it. And when I was out in LA last week, I went by Elwood T. Risk Studios, and man, he does awesome work. So right here, he does work with targets. You probably saw him on Californication in the background, 6 Feet Under in the background, all those different Hollywood productions. He did a very cool thing with a SEAL sniper buddy of mine, where my friend fired 1 round on the minute, every minute, on the 11th anniversary of 9/11. And then Elwood T. Risk put this whole piece of art together called Until It Hurts. Incredible. It's awesome. You can check out his website, elwoodtrisk.com. And if you keep your eyes peeled, they have sharp ranger eyes, sniper eyes, you might catch something of his in the background on the wall in a scene from the Terminal List. So very cool. Awesome stuff. It was great to catch up with him. You can also follow him on Instagram, also Elwood T. Risk. Stacy W., Real Dutch Girl on Instagram. Thank you for this. Amazing. Beyond cool. Thank you for what was inside, and a very kind note. So means so much to me. Sincerely appreciate that. And the cakes. So check out Real Dutch Girl Instagram. And Stacy's made some amazing cakes at book launch parties for me in the past, and looking forward to doing that again in the future as in-person book signings start back up. So hopefully I'll be on tour again this April of 2022 for In the Blood when that hits shelves. So hopefully maybe at the Reagan Library, I'm thinking, Stacy, I think that's going to be a good spot to do a cake for the cover of In the Blood. So very cool. What else is going on here? Work my way down the line. Jesse D'Angelo, so cool. Thank you for these books. Amazing. Sincerely appreciate the kind note that you sent with them, and for these drawings. So if you can see here, these things, Jesse D'Angelo rocking these things. So that's me and Chris Pratt, and Chris Pratt and me. And Chris, of course, is starring as Navy SEAL sniper James Reese in the Amazon series adaptation of my first novel, The Terminal List. So Jesse, thank you so much. You can go follow him and check out his books. Love these covers, by the way. Love the covers. Love the titles. Keep crushing it, my friend. Sincerely appreciate that. Icarus Precision. Man, I am fired up to get these worked on. You can see this is a module right here. This one is for the 365 XL SIG. I am so fired up for these. And, well, for this, and for this. And I'm going to send I think an XL and a 365 off to Parker Mountain Machine, get a little work done, drop those onto these modules right here. Bam, Icarus Precision. Check these out. So very cool. Love the feel of these. And I'm really excited about dropping right now all my 365 and my 365 XL are out of the box. And I'm very excited to get them going with these new modules and with little work from Parker Mountain Machine. So very cool. Icarus Precision. Check out what they have going on. This in particular, I think this is going to be the one. So I think it's going to be a 365 XL with little work from Parker Mountain Machine. I think that's going to end up being my thing, but I will be documenting that build along the way as soon as I come up for air after I finish book 5. So those are very cool. Thank you so much for sending those. Awesome. I mean, you can just tell how incredible that work is. So super cool. Boom. What time is it? Oh yeah. It's time to check out a little exclusive copy subscription. Look at that. Space Bear. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. Bam. If you're not signed up for a little Black Rifle Coffee exclusive coffee club, go check it out. Every month you get a different one. And I'll be trying this out tomorrow morning. Awesome, guys. Thank you. This pretty cool too. This is called A Good Bunch of Men, a Dickie Floyd detective novel. Danny R. Smith right there. And I love the back right here. I mean, look at this is old school type picture. I mean, that's LA homicide detective. I mean, I don't even need to read the rest of that blurb to find out what this guy did for a living. But Danny visited me at a conference not too long ago, and got to hang out for a little bit. So it says Danny R. Smith, author of the Dickie Floyd detective novel series, is a former homicide detective who served 21 years with the LA County Sheriff's Department. Now lives in Idaho and has a crime blog at dickiefloydnovels.com. So very cool. Awesome. I love when guys get out of law enforcement, get out of the military, get out of being a firefighter, EMS, and go pursue that next dream in life. So awesome. And Solomon, what? How did you guys know that I needed new boots? And these are the 40 GTX Forces Quest. So I have the regular version, and this is the Forces version. So black. Very cool. So thank you guys. If you've read the novels, you know that these boots are pretty much a staple in my everyday life. So very cool. Thank you guys. Incredible. And I'm moving through this pretty quick today because I got to get back to writing. What else is going on? You know what? Right here. Terminal list, bam. This is called a trade paperback, and as opposed to a paperback. So a paperback's a little smaller. Trade paperback is my favorite version, and this is out there now. And coming in trade paperback soon is The Devil's Hand. So I think that comes out in September. So you can check out The Devil's Hand, or sorry, True Believer. True Believer is coming out in trade paperback version in September. So you can check that out. Once again, it's my favorite version of the novels. So very cool. That's coming soon. And let's talk about some books. Let's talk about the August reading list. So I have 6 books. And if you're joining me for the first time, some of those usually come from the professional reading list that I was asked to put together for the SEAL teams before I left active duty. And others are just books that weren't on that list, but have impacted me at some point along my journey, either as a combat leader or as an author. And let's dive right in. Taliban. So I read this 2002. I believe it came out in 2001. So after my first post 9/11 deployment, I read this. I was an intelligence rep for the platoon, and I was always reading everything I could about terrorism, insurgencies, counterinsurgencies. And I knew that one of the responsibilities of a combat leader is to understand the nature of the conflict in which you're engaged. And after 9/11, Ahmed Rasheed was one of the most insightful journalists writing about Central Asia, Pakistan, Afghanistan during that time frame, and still is today. So now with what's going on in Afghanistan, go back, read this through the lens of what's happened over the last 20 years, and then read all his other books in between as well. Descent into Chaos, Jihad. There's a bunch of them out there now. So incredibly insightful author and journalist and thinker. So Taliban, read it. Wilbur Smith, When the Lion Feeds. So this one was his first novel, written in 1964. And he's written 40 plus novels since, 120 million copies of those novels in print. And all of them have some sort of touch point with Africa. And in most cases, more than just a touch point. So check this out. If you do, you'll probably be on the next plane to Africa, wanting to go and experience that part of the world. So Wilbur Smith is still going strong today. Incredible. Talking to Strangers, Malcolm Gladwell. This is a great one. This came out in 2019. And this is one of those books that it's almost a hybrid when you listen to the audiobook. I read it, then I listened to the audio book. And having been a huge fan of Malcolm Gladwell's for the longest time, since The Tipping Point came out, I've been a fan of everything he's ever written, and his revisionist history podcast is next level. So that came out, the first one came out, first season in 2016. As soon as it dropped, I was listening to it. And this book, Talking to Strangers, if you listen to the audio book, it's like a hybrid audiobook and podcast combined into one. So love what Malcolm Gladwell is doing, pushing boundaries as far as audiobooks and podcasts out there. And Talking to Strangers it was important when it was written, but it's even more important today as we see these divides in the country continue to widen. Everybody should stop for a second, put down the iPhones, put down anything that beeps at you, and read this book, or at least download it, then put it on airplane mode, and then listen to it for that listening experience. Because Talking to Strangers has a message that is of vital importance to the nation. So, and I don't say that lightly. So check this out. Malcolm Gladwell, Talking to Strangers. If you've been following me for a while, you know that his other books have been on past reading list selections as well. So check out everything he's done. Check out Revisionist History, and definitely move Talking to Strangers to the top of your list. All right. The Big Burn, Timothy Egan. Timothy Egan, man, what an incredible author and journalist. Big Burn tells the story of the United States Forest Service through the prism of a fire, the Big Burn, the Great Burn, the big fire of 1910. That it burned in 36 hours, I think 3 million acres, so an area the size of Connecticut, in Washington, Montana, and Idaho. Just incredible. But you learn a lot about conservation, about why we have public lands in this country, who we can thank for that, and what a battle it was to preserve those public lands for future generations, to establish them and then to keep them. So The Big Burn, Timothy Egan, incredible book. If you enjoy public land or venture into the backcountry or a field at all, read this book. Great book. And also for the kids, for those 6th, 7th, 8th grade, high school years, read this book for sure to get a deeper appreciation for why we have some of the things in this country that we can all enjoy as citizens. So The Big Burn, read it. Aha. Reacher said nothing. All right. For anybody in the creative space, aspiring authors, writers, established authors and writers, this is very cool. So Andy Martin shadowed Lee Child as he wrote Make Me. And it's such a cool book. Andy Martin is such a unique, fascinating writer. And he brings that obviously to these pages. But check this out. You get to follow Lee Child and figure out how he develops the plots, how he solves problems, as he goes about writing what is one of the most successful series characters of all time, Jack Reacher. So very cool. Reacher said nothing. And this is an interesting one. Unrestricted Warfare. So I read this one in 2002, and it was written in 1999, though. And it's an interesting book because a lot of people read this or read something about this and think that it is China's master plan to destroy America, which is the subtitle here. That wasn't the subtitle of the actual paper that was written by these two colonels in the People's Liberation Army, but Unrestricted Warfare is the translation, roughly. But it's interesting to read this. And I went back through it again not too long ago for research for a novel. And it's looking at this through what has transpired since 1999, particularly since September 11th. Um, Read it with that in mind. So definitely check this out, because what it really does is talk about expanding the definition of warfare. And there are so many other components to it today. And you can see how all of this has played out since they wrote it in 1999. So definitely read this and check out Dr. David Kilcullen's take on this as well. So in his book, Out of the Mountains, which was in my reading list last month. So Unrestricted Warfare, definitely check this out. They put 9/11 on the cover, I think, to sell more books in the United States, but it's certainly about a lot more than that. That just, I think, sold copies of this thing. So, but an important text to understand as a citizen, as a strategist, politicians, people in the military, Unrestricted Warfare. Check it out. All right. Is that everything? I think I did it. All right. Hats, by the time this drops, should be back on the website. You can go to jackcarusa.com. All the merch is on there. All the cups, the coffee, the t-shirts, the hats, the bookmarks, the bottle breachers, all that stuff. So go check that out. Or you can go to officialjackcar.com, click gear in the upper right-hand corner, and that'll take you to that website as well. You can also leave a rating and review for my podcast, Danger Close with Jack Carr, Beyond the Books with Jack Carr. Those drop every Wednesday, and a rating and review is certainly helpful on those, as are reviews that you leave on Amazon or elsewhere, wherever you leave reviews for books. All of your authors would sincerely appreciate that. So I think that's everything. Thank you so much. Really appreciate all the support. And until the next time, stay strong out there. Keep fighting.